Hey, Larry! Larry! Fuck you always in here lurking, man.
Ain't nobody lurking, man. Fuck you, man.
Fuck me?
Niggas having Apple TV anyway.
That nigga ain't got no motherfucking Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Dom Griffin, I'm a film critic, and you're watching The Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, that sort of thing. So if you like movies and movie-adjacent popular culture and you like to see somebody pick those things apart, please consider subscribing. Today, I'm reviewing a movie called Gully, directed by music video helmer Nabil Elderkin, and starring Kelvin Harrison Jr, an actor who was just in another vehicle I reviewed recently on the channel that was also filmed 3 whole years ago and is just now seeing the light of day. If you're not familiar with Nabil Elderkin, he's made memorable music videos for the likes of Frank Ocean, Kanye West,
Tell him give me 50 million, I'ma quit.
the Arctic Monkeys,
Why'd you only call me when you're high?
and Nicki Minaj.
But he really moved grams and he split it with his man.
As I've said multiple times in this channel, I always like to check out when a music video director makes the leap to feature films. The results are usually interesting, even when they're unsuccessful. This is one of those instances. Gully follows 3 young friends with tumultuous home lives. Charlie Plummer plays Nicki, who lives with his older sister, played by noted fan favorite Amber Heard, and her young son. Nicki's a rough kid who learned the language of violence from his father, and now he's on the verge of becoming a father himself. Jacob Latimore plays Calvin, an even wilder individual who treats his skateboard like a live pet, and only thinks about 2 things: burning it all down and flying out to space. And finally, there's Kelvin Harrison Jr. as Jesse, the ostensible narrator of this piece who doesn't speak and lives alone in a house with his father, Mr. Charlie, played by John Corbett. Except Mr. Charlie isn't Jesse's father. He's a pedophile with his own wife and kids who kidnapped Jesse from his mother as a child and has him holed up in this house for years and years, to the point that even Jesse's own friends don't know his torturous origin story. If all that sounds incredibly heavy and daunting, it fucking is. But before you can even begin to unpack the mountain of trauma from its 3 leads, the closest thing to a core concept Gully truly has is a pretty dated one, as the trio decides to start living their meager lives like the fake version of Grand Theft Auto they are each obsessed with playing, leading to some really cringy and on-the-nose social commentary about violence in the media. If that was all the movie was, and it ran at a faster clip, it could be a chaotic burst of expression, the sort of raw and aggressive debut you love to see come out of film festivals, even if they don't stick the landing. But even at this brisk runtime, Gully is a movie that hops around between so many ideas and none of them ever really congeal together. It truly feels like Nabil had several ideas for shorts, and they all hang together with this serviceable screenplay, despite not feeling like one cohesive whole. Because there's a whole other subplot involving Jonathan Majors as one of their neighbors fresh out of jail acclimating back to the real world, an ongoing series of vignettes with Terrence Howard as an unhoused man who is either suffering from mental illness, or might actually be some kind of otherworldly specter, not unlike the Death Black Rider figure from Bone Thugs and Harmony's Crossroads video. It's unclear. What is clear is that all the actors involved are giving it their all. Maybe a little bit too much. Especially Latimore, who is trying to will an iconic and combustible presence into existence without the writing to truly support it. Plummer and Harrison Jr. avail themselves a little bit better by virtue of not being turned to 11 the whole time. There's also little cameos from Vince Staples and
Hey, tell your mama check in with the homie. She still working nights?
Travis Scott, which is to be expected in a movie made by a guy who made his bones in the music industry. It's still got the eye for imagery one would expect from Nabil's video work, but there's just not enough here to truly feel compelling. Too many loose ideas fall by the wayside, or do that typical indie movie first drafting writing thing of just following events to the worst possible conclusion and then pointing at that tragic inevitability as if sad endings are deep in and of themselves. One of my biggest pet peeves is to watch a movie where like just shitty things happen to everybody up until like the end, and then it's like, yeah, that sucks. Everything sucked for everyone in this movie, and you for watching it. Isn't that profound? Really, really big trigger for me. But if anything, it feels like some years from now, Gully will be an odd curio to look back on, as much of the cast is destined for much bigger things, and even Nabil shows enough promise behind the camera that I doubt this will be his last ever feature. So for now, think of it like an assemblage of demos from a filmmaker and his collaborators before they all collectively hit their respective strides. More a promising reel than an effective finished product. And sometimes that's all debut films really are, a promise for more to come. And quite frankly, it could be a lot worse. I've definitely seen far worse indie directorial debuts from people who should have no business behind the camera ever again, and this doesn't feel like that. It's not great. I didn't love it. I'm not gonna wholeheartedly recommend it, but there was enough there that even though I didn't enjoy it very much, I could sense that in the future, not just the cast, because the cast is very strong, but even Nabil himself, like I could see him making a better movie in the future, should he find a story that matches his artistic instincts. So this is available on VOD. Should you rent or buy it? Maybe. Like, I wouldn't really suggest it. It doesn't leave you enough to feel like it's a worthy venture, but like if you do watch it, I don't think you're gonna hate it. And I don't know, sometimes it's the most you can hope for, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts about Gully. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any thoughts on the movie or the people involved with it or anything like that, you can feel free to comment those down below. I love talking to you guys, obviously. And if you have not subscribed, this would be a good time to subscribe. Hit the little bell icon so you get notifications whenever I put out new videos, and you get to be the first in line to see my thoughts about all the random stuff that I watch, because that's what I do. Thank you again for watching. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, being good to yourselves and each other. I will see you in the next video. Bye.